Hello, learners. I'm Anubhav Sharma, faculty for Quality and Governance and PSIR at Unacademy IAS. Today, we are going to have a discussion with respect to opting optionals for UPSC. In particularly, I'm going to talk about the optional which I teach, and that is political science and international relations. In this respect, I'm going to talk about what exactly PSIR is about, what exactly are the factors that you need to consider when you're considering PSIR. And we are also going to discuss about what? We are going to discuss about how exactly I'm going to go about in my classes in terms of covering PSIR. In this respect, the first thing that we need to know is why exactly should we be considering PSIR as an optional, political science and international relations. Now, something that we need to understand is when it comes to optional, there are few things that every aspirant, in my opinion, should keep in mind. The first thing is your optional is something where UPSC is expecting you to have expertise, understanding, and knowledge. Yes, we have general studies, GS1, GS2, GS3, GS4. We have a paper for essay. And then we also have paper for optional exam, that is paper 1 and paper 2, where it is going to be a 500 marks. A lot of times students have this wrong understanding the way in which we are supposed to prepare for general studies. Our manner in which we need to prepare for the option is going to be the same. The expectation of the examiner is also going to be the same. ऐसा नहीं है. This is not the way in which things occur. When we actually analyze the way in which UPSC is going about in terms of giving marks in optional, it is very clear that they are actually giving marks for expertized answers, very high quality answers. And that is why I believe when it comes to optional, the most important factor that you need to keep in mind is your liking. Is the subject that you enjoy the most? Is your subject that when you read, it does not appear as if you're putting in a lot of hard work? It is when you like a subject, is when you give yourself an opportunity to score well with. Far too often, I see many of the educators talking about that this option is scoring, that option is scoring, which is fine, which is fair. But at the same time, we must also keep in mind, even if there is a so-called scoring optional and you're bad at it, you don't enjoy reading it, there is absolutely no doubt that you're not going to get good marks of it. On the other hand, we see for so-called low-scoring optionals, people are able to get into top 20 because they excel in that paper. So all that matters when we talk about opting for the right optional is the subject that you like the most. That's the most important factor that everyone should consider. Second thing that is important is for you to have a proper faculty who's going to guide you with respect to it. Let's say there are two or three options that you have shortlisted and you believe and now would want to pick one. One of the factors that you must consider is, are you well tuned with your faculty? Are you enjoying the way in which faculty is going to teach you? Are you enjoying the way in which faculty is covering the topics? It is very important that the manner in which your faculty is teaching is able to keep things interesting. If at all it is not interesting, again the same problem will occur. Even in the optional that you thought you like, you may not enjoy it. As such, compatibility with the faculty is very important. And with that, of course, the notes that are available for you to prepare. In this respect, one more factor that I believe every aspirant should keep in mind is when you talk about preparation for general studies, with respect to some of the subjects, yes, you essentially can pick up some standard works and you will be able to get well versed with what exactly UPSC is looking for. But so cannot be said for optional, certainly. When you talk about optional, as I've already said, what matters is how well you're able to present an expertise knowledge, how well you're able to link the perspectives given by different scholars. And this will require you to, on one hand, refer multiple sources. At the same time, it will also require on your part to link it with current affairs. That means the whole idea of preparing notes for UPSC for your optional is going to become a very tiresome task, and that is where a faculty and educator is going to help you out. So the second thing that you need to keep in mind is that you are having access to a good educator, a good faculty that you like, that you are able to connect well with, you are able to resonate with. Once that is done, the third factor that you should consider is how well the optional is overlapping with your GS syllabus. This is something that we have already understood. That when you're preparing for UPSC, it's not that you have to prepare only for optionals. Yes, there will be two papers for optionals, but at the same time, you have to prepare for GS subjects 1, GS2, GS3, GS4, right? Apart from it, you also will need to prepare for SN. In this respect, something that we need to keep in mind is the way in which general studies syllabus has been designed by UPSC. It essentially involves many of the topics that we need to know that is important for us to become an administrator, but at the same time, it deals with a lot of topics and subjects of humanities. For example, when we talk about GS1, we know for a fact that there will be geography, there will be history, there will be society. For GS2, we have polity, governance, social justice, international relations. When you talk about GS4, it is going to be what? Ethics and governance, case studies. GS3 will have aspects of environment, biodiversity, science and economy. In this respect, if you think about it, in your preparation of GS 1 to 3 4, actually there are so many topics of humanities that you are understanding at a general level, and that is for general studies. In this respect, what I want you to keep in mind is that why not prepare with an optional which in so many ways is giving us proper understanding and knowledge about many of the topics that are there in general studies. In other words, it will always be a good idea that you're going for that optional, which is helping you to prepare in general studies while you're preparing the optional. उतना कम effort लगेगा. Better you're getting with respect to concepts of general studies, it is going to help you to build foundation for optional. Better is your understanding of the optional topics automatically when you have the topics of your general studies are getting covered. In this aspect, it is very important that we are making a very educated choice. We are actually able to do a proper comparison. And as I said, that the purpose of this lecture is you are able to see how PSIR, political science and international relations, is going to help you in your general studies preparation. As I said, the first thing that we need to understand is how exactly PSIR is overlapping with your general studies. General studies paper 1 की बात करते हैं. What exactly general studies paper 1 has? It has, of course, history, geography, society. These are the topics that you need to study. This is a section that I have taken where I have taken topics that are given in UPSC syllabus, and I want you to compare it with topics that are given in syllabus for PSIR. What exactly do we have in GS1? Modern Indian history. We need to study about what exactly were the developments that had happened in modern Indian history. We need to understand about our freedom struggle, different council acts. We need to study about Rowlatt Act. We need to study about Simon Commission. We need to study about all the developments that had occurred in the modern history. That is what the purpose of the syllabus is. In this aspect, when we look at PSIR, what exactly we have? In paper 1, section A, that is political theory in Indian politics, we are supposed to understand about Indian political thought. We need to study Sir Syed Ahmad Khan, Sir Aurobindo, Mahatma Gandhi, his role in India's freedom struggle, his views on it, B.R. Ambedkar's views. In the process, we will end up understanding many of the things that we are supposed to know, supposed to study in general studies, that is history part. That means better are our concepts getting in PSIR, automatically it is helping in GS. Better is our understanding in history for GS1 that we have to study for sure, irrespective of our optional, automatically some foundational understanding of PSIR is getting done. Then we have freedom struggle, its various stages and important contributions of different parts of the country. How exactly different parts of the country, different ideologies played a part with respect to India's freedom struggle. The same we are studying over here, Indian nationalism. But for the different political strategies of India's freedom struggle, I hope you're able to understand. There's a clear overlap between topics of GS1 and PSIR topics. Then we have non-cooperation movement, again something that is linked with your modern history. We have civil disobedience movement, military and revolutionary movement. Better is our understanding of PSIR. Automatically, it is helping us to get clarity in the history paper. Another thing that we need to keep in mind is when we are studying topics in general studies, a lot of time we don't really need to understand dynamic aspects of the topic. For the very simple reason, we actually will need to focus on what exactly is relevant and important from standpoint of general studies. But in PSIR, the way in which we go about it, we understand different narratives, different perspectives to understand how what transpired in history. That also gives us a very interesting way to write answers, which definitely is going to help you in GS1. Then again, when we talk about GS1, as I said, apart from history, we also have society. We also have to understand what Indian society. What exactly do we understand in Indian society? We understand India's complex caste system. We understand about regionalism. We understand about communalism in India. We understand about women issues in India. We understand about ways in which right and issues around it are emerging, be it rights with respect to LGBT community, be it rights with respect to children, women, etc., etc. What exactly we see? We have to understand about Indian society, diversity of India, role of women, women's organization, associated issues, poverty, development. In this regard, what exactly do we have? In PSIR, paper 1, chapter 9, we have to understand about caste, religion, and ethnicity in Indian politics. We have to start from the base that we need to about what exactly are the impacts of caste system, which is a part of Indian society, on the way in which Indian politics occurs. How exactly parties are getting created on caste lines, on religious lines. The same is over here, ethnicity in politics. Then we look at again paper 1, chapter 8, impacts of liberalization and economic reforms. Again, what we have to understand about effects of globalization on Indian society. Again, I hope you're able to see a clear overlap. Then we have social, then we have social empowerment, communalism, regionalism, secularism. All these topics will get covered in the way in which we are going to cover things in PSIR because these are all aspects of PSIR. Secularism, different perspective about secularism, Indian secularism, Western secularism, comparison between the two, French model of secularism, US model of secularism, how exactly secularism evolved in different part of Europe. All these things are the things that we need to study in PSIR. Again, I hope you're able to see a clear overlap. Right. Again, in GS1, you have post-independent history, a part of history. Post-independent history mainly deals with things that has happened after 1950. One of the things that I often tell to my students is the fact that it is really strange that what we call as modern history is something that happened 75 years before. We are living in 2025 and everything that happened in 1950, हम उसको modern history मानते हैं. One of the things that has happened in the recent past, the way in which UPSC decided to update their optional, that is, update the syllabus of general studies, they decided to include post-independence consolidation and reorganization to be also something that we need to study, which is nothing but post-independent history, that is, things that transpired between 1950 to 2025. In this regard, when we look at history that happened after independence, there will be a political history, there will be a societal history. When we talk about political history, we need to understand about how exactly different political parties emerged. Because these political parties emerging is an aspect of what? Is an aspect of how exactly things were changing. India was changing. I'll give you a brief example. Till 1967, we call it to be a period of single party rule from 1950 to 1967. Why? For the very simple reason Indian National Congress was dominating both at the center as well as at the state. But 1967, what exactly we see? End of single party rule. Then we understand about 1971 elections, we understand about emergency that happened in 1975. We understand political events that are occurred which led to creation of Bangladesh, that led to treaty of friendship with Russia. All these things are part of PSIR. But if you think about it, if you notice it, it is also helping you to understand things that transpired right after independence. Right? The same is over here, paper 1, Indian government and politics, chapter 11. We have to understand about social movements, civil liberties, human rights movements that had happened in recent past. Again, all these movements, child environmental movements or human rights movements, so these are things which essentially are linked with what? Post-independent history. Again, in a very direct way, PSIR is helping to make general studies. I'm taking a leap of faith in order to assume that you must be knowing that when you talk about general studies paper 2, what you have polity and governance, you have social justice, and you also have international relations. These are the topics that we are covering in general studies paper 2 that is given in UPSC syllabus. And when you compare it with syllabus of PSIR, your polity and governance in its totality is getting covered in PSIR paper 1. Your social justice in totality is getting covered in PSIR paper 1. And your international relations in a very dynamic manner, in a very detailed manner, is getting covered in PSIR paper 2. So it will not be wrong to say that more than 90% of GS2 actually overlaps with what we need to study in PSIR. Is it clear? Clear. Then the GS3, the global thing that's a GS3 में तो we have economy, we have internal security, we have biodiversity, we have environment. How exactly it is going to overlap with PSIR? Interestingly, it still does. Where exactly there is the overlap? You have to understand about Indian economy issues relating to planning in GS3, which is a part of economy. Interestingly, in paper 1, we have to understand in IGP, that is Indian government and politics, role of planning in public sector, green revolution. Land reforms in India is something you have to study in paper 3. Again, land reforms and agrarian relations and reforms that are occurred after independence. These are things that we need to study in PSIR as well. Effects of liberalization and economy, linkage between development and spread of extremism. This is something that is linked with internal security, but it is also something that we study in political science with respect to different ideologies which emerged after independence. As such, again, we are able to see that even GS3 and PSIR is overlapping with respect to syllabus. This brings us to GS4. I think you must be knowing that GS4 is a paper which is known as paper for ethics. Right? Ethics is something that you study in GS4. आप सोचोगे सर ethics में कैसे political science? Look at the syllabus. You have to understand about ethics and human interface. You have to understand about human values. When you talk about PSIR, you also will have to understand about equality, democracy. These are values. You have to understand about different ways in which representative democracy works. You have to understand about feminism. You have to understand about issues with respect to caste discrimination. All these factors are factors that are linked with ethics and that is values in Indian context. Better is our understanding with respect to PSIR topics. I am promising you, you will have a better hold with respect to proper moral understanding of how exactly values manifest. That is going to directly help in GS4. अभी आपको लगता हो equality means समानता. Equality means that no one is getting discriminated. But when we studied in PSIR, we understand about different types of equality, different views with respect to equality. We understand the rationale and idea behind affirmative action and reservation. What can be different types of reservation? We try to understand about the difference between different types of discrimination. We try to understand about gender differentiation from gender discrimination, something which was at the heart of subliminal politics. So you will be able to understand, I think it must be very clear to you, that better is our hold on PSIR topics automatically. GS4 topics and understanding will be getting covered. If not in direct sense, at least in indirect ways. Right? We have to understand about contributions of moral thinkers and philosophers from India and the world. कौन से है वो thinkers? Patel, again we studied in PSIR. B.R. Ambedkar, we studied in PSIR. Nehru Gandhi, we studied in PSIR. Aristotle, PSIR. Bentham, PSIR. Rawls, PSIR. If you think about it, many of the concepts, moral thinkers that you're supposed to study in ethics in a very detailed and in a very systematic manner, we will cover it in political science and international relations. Then, ethical issues in international relations and funding. I think it is very obvious. This is something that is at the core of PSIR. We have to study about international relations, and with it, we will understand about different ideologies and philosophies of international relations. Better is our understanding in PSIR. Automatically, this topic is getting covered. In ethics, for the people, for the students who might be knowing, you are also being tested in case studies. When you talk about case studies, it's a way by which you are being put into a scenario where you are expected that you need to react. And in your reaction, apart from giving a detailed course of action that you're going to take, it is also expected that you're also explaining what? You're also explaining value reasoning. What is right, what isn't right, why what you're doing you believe is morally correct, ethically correct. All of this reasoning will lead you to have a proper understanding of values like equality, justice, democracy, fairness. This is something that PSIR will offer you. Automatically, there will be a very stark improvement in the way in which you're writing answers. आपके answers में एक अलग clear आएगा. And that is what we are trying to achieve with PSIR, and that is one of the benefits of PSIR. Now that we have understood about PSIR, we have understood all the factors around it, like having a good faculty, having a proper understanding about the syllabus of PSIR and how exactly it overlaps with GS. Now, I would want you to understand more about how exactly I go about in terms of taking and teaching PSIR. हम क्या क्या करते हैं, कैसे करते हैं? One of the things, one of the philosophies that I have is the fact that the very purpose why students are coming to us is because they want all the things, all the aspects that are required for preparation of the exam in one place. When you talk about any optional, it is very important for you to refer multiple books. But if at all you are coming to a good educator, someone who has a very good experience with respect to teaching UPSC, it is very important that you are getting all that information from the educator itself. You are able to get all the input that is necessary from the educator. It should be my job that I'm referring all the books and I'm putting all the relevant information in one place. And that is what my philosophy of teaching is. The way in which we are going to go about in our classes, only thing that is going to be necessary on your part is to come on time, make proper notes of our classes. There will be notes that I'll be dictating, and at certain times we are going to also discuss certain PPTs or other certain PDFs in which I'm going to explain the concept and I'm going to give you handouts, notes. One of the things that I take pride with respect to the way in which I teach PSIR or for that matter quality governance, that I am as good as your ability to solve the questions that UPSC has asked. If at all you're finding that you're able to solve all the questions that came in the exam from the notes that I provided you, I have done a good job. If at all you're not able to solve the questions that UPSC is asking, be it in PSIR or quality and governance, from things that we discussed in the class and the notes that I provided, then what's the point of being a coach with respect to UPSC preparation? I take pride in saying the fact that I guarantee that 95% of all the questions that are going to come are going to be from the notes and class discussions that we're going to have. You will not have to refer any other thing except for what I'm going to provide in the class. Yes, but on your part, the onus is that I would want you to come and attend the classes. I would want you to not miss any of the classes and make proper notes. I'm going to help you with respect to note making as well. The things that you need to keep in mind when making notes, how exactly you're able to make notes in a manner in which it is also helping you to do answer writing. All of that will be done in the class. But the point I want you to keep in mind here is that you don't have to refer anything else if you're attending PSIR classes at an academy and I'll be taking that. Fine? Answer writing. I think in some ways what has happened is there's a lot of things that are being said with respect to answer writing. And in so many ways, there is a lot of fear that is being spread with respect to answer writing. Now let's get it straight. Yes, answer writing is important, but at the end of the day, answer writing is a skill. And any skill can be obtained when you practice. What is important is you get proper guidance, you get a proper system, and you're actually able to do answer writing practice the way or in the course of lectures that we're going to have. This is something that I am going to ensure occurs. There will be questions that will be given to you, and you're supposed to write it. At times, I'm going to help you to write the answers in the class itself. At times, I'm going to give you some questions that you need to go and write and give it to me, and I'm going to ensure that you get proper feedback on it. You are able to understand where exactly your big mistakes. One of the things that I always encourage my students is to keep on writing answers, irrespective of whether you're writing good answers or bad answers. So the reason for any person who's writing excellent answers, the journey starts from writing some very bad answers. आप शुरू में बहुत खराब answers लिखते हो and धीरे धीरे you write not so bad answers. From there you write okay answers. From there you write good answers. From there you write UPSC level answers. Michael Phelps, one of the most popular or the biggest Olympian ever. He's a person who probably is the best swimmer ever. When for the first time when he got into the swimming pool, वो ट्यूब के साथ ही आया हुआ था. Even for the best, उसकी journey भी ऐसे start हुई ना कि उसको कुछ नहीं आता था. He had to get into water and he had a tube जो उसको डूबने से बचा रहा था. The same applies over here. If you want to develop the skill of answer writing, the first step is get into water, start writing bad answers, and I am your lifeguard. I'm going to make sure that you're on the right path. So answer writing is something that we take very seriously in our class. There will be frequent sessions with respect to answer writing approach. We are going to discuss previous year questions. There will be certain questions that will be given to you so that you're able to write answers. And in a timely manner, you're going to get proper response. Orange rules. Let's talk about it. So, some that is some number of students that are going to have are going to be online students. They are going to enroll in the online format, which is great, which is fine. But generally, I sense a kind of fear in them that, sir, will it be as good as being an offline student? See, the truth is, no, it will not be. For the reason, when you are an offline student, you essentially are able to come to the class, you're able to meet me, we can have a face-to-face interaction. But at the same time, I, for one, empathize with the people who are also studying online for the very simple reason there has to be a reason why you have to study online. कुछ कारण है, कुछ reason है, तभी तो आप online पढ़ रहे हो. In this respect, all efforts and attempts will be made by which I am going to ensure that you're able to get all the assistance required, even in online mode. We can have some dedicated classes only for your doubts. We can have some dedicated calls where I'm going to clear all your doubts. In this aspect, anything and everything that can be done by which we are able to replicate the atmosphere that you get while you're in offline class, the same will be done for you when you're accessing it online. So for all the people who are thinking of taking up classes only in online mode, I can assure you, I can give you the confidence that all efforts will be made by which you are able to get the best possible lessons, classes, and input that we can provide you. And I, for one, I'm going to be there in order to help you out with respect to any doubt that you're having. Fine? The last part is mentorship, something that I want to talk about. See, one of the things that we need to understand when you talk about preparation for UPSC, this is not an exam where you get a degree. It is a competitive exam in which people who get into merit are going to get a job. In this respect, optional, although is a very important aspect of your preparation for UPSC for you to clear the exam, it is only one of the components. What matters to me is that you should get selected. Because it doesn't matter how good I teach you or how good you score in PSIR, if at all you're not able to clear the cutoff report for you to get into the merit list. So one of the things that I believe in, I pride in, is the fact that I ensure proper mentorship for my students, not only with respect to PSIR, with respect to any aspect of your UPSC operation. I will be there to help you out, handhold you with respect to any of the problems that you might be having in general studies or for that matter in PSIR or with respect to answer writing. Anything and everything that is required for you to get the right mentorship, I'm going to be your mentor. Apart from it, there are students who are having this apprehension that, sir, we are going to be studying for a few number of months, 6 months or so. We are going to be together. What about after 6 months? Because the preparation is not going to end at 6 months. Will you be available after 6 months? I'm going to be available for you, for your concerns, till the time you're preparing for the exam. देखो मैं तो कहीं नहीं जा रहा. I'm going to be here Until the time you have the material, you have the caliber, you have the will to keep on studying and keep on attempting for this great exam, for this wonderful service, I can give you my word, I can give you my commitment. I'm going to be there to help you out in any manner, in every manner. So, as far as our relationship is concerned, as a student and a teacher, it's not limited only to the 6 months of classes that we're going to have. It is going to go well beyond it. It is going to be till the point you get selected. Is it clear? Last bit of information I just want you to keep in mind that we are going to start our batches at ORN from 29th May. Please visit our ORN center. If at all you want to talk to me, take an appointment. I will talk to you. Whatever we can do to make you comfortable with respect to admission process, we are going to ensure it and be confident and be assured that we are going to get the best possible coaching that is required for UPSC preparation. If you have any concerns, please contact our team. I hope this session was helpful for many learners. If at all you have any concerns, please visit us at our online centers. Thank you.